Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make Squidward's house from the show SpongeBob. If you enjoy this tutorial, please do remember to hit that like button. It really helps me out so much more than you can possibly imagine. And if you want to check out any more SpongeBob related builds, you can see that I have quite a few of them here. They will all be available in the card system and the description below. I will make all of these tutorials very easy to find, and there are even more than you can see right here, so be sure to check those out. But without any further ado, let's do this thing. So to begin, I should let you know that Squidward's house, the garden, the house, will require a 17 block by a 20 block area. That is 17 blocks coming across the front of the house, but about 20 blocks going towards the back. You can actually get away with a slightly smaller area, but this accounts for all of the sand that I've placed around the build. We also need all of these materials that I've just put into my hotbar right now. I don't think that we'll actually need any more than this, although, disclaimer, I've been wrong before. Make sure that you have them all. Pause the video if necessary. I'd highly suggest drawing this grid in your world as well. Now, if you do that, you're going to want to begin on the front left-hand corner of the grid. And you want to count your way to the right by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then count inwards by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, funnily enough, we went and found the 7th block to the right and then the 7th block inwards. We then want to begin the build with a row of 4 cyan concrete coming up from this position. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Connect down to the ground. You want to place a dark oak wood door in the center of the empty space behind the cyan concrete. And place spruce wood planks all the way around the door, including on top of it, just above it like this. You want to place an item frame to the right of the door, the upper half preferably, with a yellow concrete inside of that. That is just supposed to look like a big giant doorknob. Squidward's door is a nice big wooden door, and the only function of this dark oak wood door is so that we actually can go inside of it, but altogether it looks a little bit better with the item frame. So we now want to go up on top of this row of cyan concrete, and we want to place 2 additional layers of concrete on top. 1 layer, 2 layers. Then on top of the left block and the right block, place a light grey concrete. Fill in between in with cyan concrete. Place glass on top of the light grey, with light grey concrete coming inwards from the glass, and a cyan concrete in the middle. Place upon the glass a light grey concrete, with cyan concrete in between. Like that. We then want to place a row of cyan concrete on top of everything that we've just made. Like that. Then extend the cyan concrete towards us by 1 row. Like this. Then take the middle block in the cyan concrete and go down from it by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You then want to take the last 2 blocks and you want to go left of them by 1, right of them by 1, and towards you by 1. So you want to have something which should look like this. Now, once you have this, we now want to do this. So we want to begin with the very first cyan concrete block that we placed, which is this one if you guys can remember. And coming backwards from this block, we want to place 2 diagonal placed cyan concretes coming backwards and left of this first block. So like this. 1, 2. Go up from that second one by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then place 2 upright diagonals backwards to the right. 1, 2. Go right by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then place 2 bottom right diagonals coming towards the front to the right. 1, 2. Move down by 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then place a connecting bottom left diagonal. The shape that we're looking for should look like this. As you can see, it's very circular. Now, what we want to do next is very simple. We must take every single cyan concrete and we want to make all of the cyan concretes as high as the row of cyan that we have at the front. So we want to have all of the sides of Squidward's house, as magnificent as it is, it wants to all be as high as the front. And once we've done that, we will have made a large portion of the living space inside of the house. Then we will have to make ourselves some nice details on the house because it isn't just a flat cylinder, it does have a little bit of shape because of course it is a large stone head. It's a very cool house and it did actually pose quite a few design problems whilst I was initially building it. But I think I got those worked out and I actually think that I did a pretty good job. I very much like Squidward's house if you can't tell. So we want to have something which should so far look like this. Well, the next thing we want to do is we want to place light grey concrete connecting to the glass for the eyes of the house. So if we place a light grey concrete here and here, that completes the eyes for the house. We then want to take out our cyan concrete. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky explanation-wise, but it's actually quite simple in that we want to place a row of cyan concrete that is one row above and one row inside of the empty space that is at the top of the head. The row of cyan concrete also doesn't want to connect at the corners, so if you can imagine that we're doing like a square/circular shape above and inside of the head, like this. Now, once you yourself have done that, we then want to place 4 rows of cyan concrete on top. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we want to do this for every single other one of the cyan concretes. So as you can see me doing here, we just want to do this for every single one of the other cyan concretes coming up towards the top of the head, like this. And also here as well on the right hand side. Now if we place a concrete in each one of the 4 corners like this, and then we place a layer of cyan concrete above and inside this empty space, then that will give us the top of the shape of the head, which will make it a nice shape. So we want to have something which should very much look like this. Perfect. Now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to give the house ears because oddly enough it does have them. So if you note the position of the light grey concrete for the eyes, you're specifically looking for like this side light grey concrete. You want to follow along the shape of the head from this light grey, and you want to locate the middle block in the side of the house. Place a cyan concrete in front of this block, go down by 3, 1, 2, 3, take the 2 middle blocks and extend them backwards by 1, forwards by 1, like this. Do the same on the opposite side. On the opposite side, we have this light grey to the right of the eye, and if we follow it along horizontally, we can find the middle of the head, place a cyan concrete, and go down by 3. 1, 2, 3. And take the 2 middle blocks and extend them left by 1, right by 1, respectively. So we just want to have something which should, so far, look a little bit like this. And that doesn't look all too bad at the moment, does it? I mean, we've done a pretty decent job. It kind of looks like Squidward's head. Well, not Squidward's head, but it looks like the house. Now, once you have done this, we want to shape it a little bit more by once again coming to the left middle of the house. And we actually want to take the middle block here on the side of the house, like this ledge. I'm sure that you guys will be able to find it. On top of this block, we want to stack 4 cyan concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4. And extend the first 3 cyan concretes to the left by 1. And the right by 1. 1, 2, 3. So we want to have something which should look exactly like this. Now, from the side, you can see that that is a lot better shape. So let's do the same to the opposite side here. You take the middle block, extend it up by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and extend the first 3 blocks to the left one, 1, 2, 3, and the right one, 1, 2, 3. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is actually Squidward's house pretty complete. There's only 2 more things that I'm going to do here. The first of which is I'm going to add some grey carpet it's pretty much supposed to be stone, but it's also a path out in front of the house. So I'm going to leave 2 blocks gap between the actual door, 1 gap, 2 gap, and I'm going to place a row of 3 grey carpet in front. Going to leave a gap of 1, do another row of grey, and a gap of 1, and another row of grey, like this. All I'm going to do now is I'm going to figure out an area that I want to, that I basically just want to make into sand. Now, this is going to be completely different for you. So, the way that I'm imagining it is you have an area in your world that you want to, occupy this with. Like, I'm doing a bad job of explaining this, but what this basically boils down to is it's completely up to you, depending on where you're putting this and how you're using this, how you're going to want to place sand or how you're going to want to meld it into the environment. It's not something that I can actually really tell you what to do. I'm just creating a kind of like aesthetically pleasing oval that I'm going to just place Squidward's house in. I don't want to completely like upheave all of the land around here, and I don't want to make it into like an entire like new Bikini Bottom, but I do want to place some sand around the build because of course the setting is that it's underneath the ocean. So that's the area that I'm going to dig out. I'm going to replace it with sand. It's actually a bit smaller than the dimensions that I had earlier, but hey ho. And I'm going to dig all inside that, replace it with sand, get rid of all the numbers, and I'll show you what it looks like after. But I do urge you, if you want a bigger area than this, make it a big area. If you don't, you know, do what you want in regards to actually landscaping. Back in a mo. So as you can see, this is a lot more like it. All I've done is I've cleaned up the area around Squidward's house, and I have also cleaned up all of the numbers, and I've filled it in with sand, and it looks a lot better like this. It looks very nice next to SpongeBob's house. Definitely fits in. I'm hoping that you yourself have managed to follow all of these steps along, and if you have, you should hopefully end up with Squidward's house all for yourself. If you have enjoyed this tutorial, if you found it useful, if you've liked it, please do remember to hit that like button. It really helps me out no end. You've got no idea, honestly. It's so helpful. If you want to subscribe to the channel, please do, and click the little bell next to the subscription button to ensure that you got a muster sent directly to your sub box. And on top of all of those things, if you do want to check out more SpongeBob related builds and just more builds in general, this is my cartoon world, although we're a little bit out of the way here. That's a lot of Captain Underpants and Boss Baby stuff over there, but we do a little bit of everything on this channel. But absolutely, I will leave very clear links to all the SpongeBob stuff in the card system and description below, including some more stuff that you might not have expected either, but I think you will like. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate every single one of you, especially those of you with notifications turned on that like the videos. Much love, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.